Welcome to Vicious Chihuahua Hot Sauce. This is a fictional company that's been on my mind for quite some time now. The theme is based around my dog Juno, who's been with us for 12 years now. She's a very vicious Chihuahua, hence the name Vicious Chihuahua Hot Sauce. Hot sauce actually happens to be one of my favorite things to put on food, so this made a lot of sense. At any rate, you'll see the first page come up. This is the welcome page. This is all PHP derived. Um, you'll see the very middle here, the big image of the company logo. This is actually derived from ChatGPT. The dog and text were two separate files that I combined using the open source photo editor called GIMP. It's a lot like Photoshop. If you haven't tried it, I definitely recommend. Um, this middle section here is actually a 1 by 2 grid, just to kind of get the centering correct. The image on the left side and then these three buttons on the right. These are controlled through a PHP array. The text here in the very top, the welcome text, this is an imported text from Google Fonts called Babes New. I used a font replicator or font identifier website to figure out what this Chihuahua text was, since it was derived from AI. It wasn't an actual, like, from a photo or from a text editor. So that got me to this font right here, which is a lot pretty close to it. I'm pretty happy with it. Um, on the very top, you'll see here in the address bar, the domain is vchotsauce.com. That was purchased through Cloudflare and then tied to our AWS server. And just because browsers now force HTTPS, I also installed a free SSL using Let's Encrypt. That was done through the AWS SSH shell using Linux commands. Um, Lastly, at the very bottom, you'll see the footer with the photo source and video source links. iStockPhoto.com was used for the background image you see here, and then on the next page you'll see another image that was retrieved from there. Um, I also set up the CSS to adjust each page based on the screen size. So if you were to shrink it down, you'll see that now the buttons are below the image instead of next to it. And this is actually happens on phones as well to make it more responsive. And if I grab it and pull it back again, you'll see the website goes back to desktop mode. And this is all done through CSS. You can tell the website based on what resolution is seen to do certain things. Um, if I now go forward to the About Us page, this now switches over to HTML. You'll see now there's a header with that same imported font. The navigation bar, if I hover over each menu, the colors change, and then you get a little effect where the button kind of grows, the animation. That's all done through CSS. Even on the home page, you'll see that the same thing kind of happens on these three buttons, the same effect. The image here in the middle, this is one of those stock photos from iStockPhoto.com. It is royalty free. I use CSS to round out the corners to make it a little bit more professional looking. The text here below that, this is just a little bit about the company itself. I put it behind or on top of a transparent black background to make it a little bit easier to read, and it gives a little bit more of that professional look. Here in the middle is a integrated audio clip that's MP4 format. This is actually a recording of my dog Juno from my cell phone, then imported into this website. If I hit the play button, you can see where the vicious comes from. Right below that is this an integrated YouTube video. This I use CSS styling to round the corners again, and then also to hide the border and hide the video controls. This gives it a little bit more of a integrated feel where it actually looks like it belongs on the site, not just like a YouTube video just pasted on top. That's it about for the about page. If I go on to the product page now, you'll see right away, you'll see that video again. This is a MP4 video this time. This is from a website called Storyblocks, which you'll see the watermark there right in the middle. Each flavor has its own button here at the top. If I were to click on Mohit, you'll see now we're looking at that particular product. Each product bottle that you see here, these are all created through ChatGPT. It's pretty impressive, I must say. I had to, for the other bottles, I kind of had to take this one and then for each one use GIMP to alter the colors and the logos, because one thing ChatGPT can't do is keep on repeating the same image over and over again. It's always going to be a little bit different than the next one. So I had to make some manual changes for that reason. Um, this right here is a 1x2 grid again. The bottom on the left side of the grid, the description of the flavor on the right hand side of the grid. And then right below that, you'll see two more buttons where you can switch between description and the heat scale. If I hit heat scale, you'll see the image here now replaces the text. And this kind of gives you an idea how hot that sauce is. These two buttons are controlled through JavaScript. It's basically just changing the active div that you see on the right side of this grid. And again, just like the previous page, I put a black transparent background to isolate the text and make it easier to read. At the bottom, you'll see the other flavors. If I click on the next flavor, you'll see now that the color of that flavor will stay white because I'm on that page. Again, if I go back to Mohit, you'll see Mohit stays white because I'm on that page now. It gives you an idea of kind of where you're at on the website. Again, here's these three product pages are all the same. The only difference is the photo of the product, and then the description and the heat scale are all based on that flavor. Moving on to the contact page. So you'll see there's red lines around each input field. That just indicates that it's a required field that has not been filled out yet. As soon as I type in something, for example, my first name, now that red line goes away, knowing that basically telling me that I'm good to go. If I were to leave, let's just say I left my last name blank and hit submit, I got a little pop-up here that says to please fill out this field. This is all done through JavaScript. And it's always going to tell me it's always going to give me a warning on the most top field that isn't done yet. So now if I hit it again, you'll see now it's going to tell me on the email field has not been completed. Now email and phone number, they're both fields that will validate the input. So it looks for a valid email format and a valid phone number format. If I were to just type in email and that's it, it's going to give me an error here saying that I need an @ sign in this address. And then just to kind of make it user friendly, I put some little tool tips within these two fields that kind of give you the format of what it's expecting to see. So in this case, I'll just type in email at email.com. And then as far as the phone number is concerned, I'll just type in this fake one in the right format. Reason for contact, this is just a drop-down menu. Let's just choose merchandising for this example. And I'm in the comments, I'll just write down, I want to sell your product. And then when the user hits submit, they'll get a pop-up. It says, please confirm your submission. And then it kind of gives a summary of what was written in the form. If everything looks okay, they hit OK. And then this brings you to the server side of the submission, which you can see the variables that were put into that array recorded successfully. If I go back, I do also have a clear form button that I put in here. This will wipe out everything. It'll give me a warning first, hit OK. Now everything's back to where it was before I started. And this will work if I just type in like this one word, hit clear form, it will wipe out just that one field. As I mentioned earlier, I did change the responsiveness so that if I were to go into a more skinnier mobile format here, resolution, you'll see everything now. The menu on top kind of collapses into a vertical line, and then everything kind of squeezes together so that it fits the screen properly. Same thing with the products. If I were to go to product, you see now the bottle's on top of the description where before it was side by side. And this will display this way for mobile phones as well. The contact page It's a little bit more larger to kind of fit the screen too. And then if I were to pull this back out, you'll see it goes right back to the desktop mode. Um, so yeah, that's about it. I should cover it. Hope everyone's doing well with their own projects. Good luck to you all, and have a nice summer.